Hello, welcome to Media Careers Podcast. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another engaging episode of Media Careers Podcast. My name is Maria, and I will be your host for the day. Together with me in the studio, we have a very talented young man. Daniel Ball is a third-year student at Coventry University, currently mastering a bachelor's degree in media production. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Maria.
How are you feeling today?
Good. Anxious, but good.
That's okay. We are all being there. Do you want to tell us about yourself a bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you've already sort of introduced me, sort of what I'm currently doing, what I'm currently studying. So I'm a media production student, kind of just about to graduate. I'm originally from Hemel Hempstead, sort of Hertfordshire area, which is sort of down towards like London. I moved up to Coventry for university, and I've absolutely kind of loved it. I'm sort of aspiring director / kind of production assistant / DOP, kind of everything. I like a lot of different things, and I've learned a lot of different things through the course, and
That's very interesting.
That's kind of who I am. I kind of take on whatever I can.
Oh, well, we want to welcome you to our podcast, and it's obviously a pleasure to have you here. And this is a great opportunity for us and for our listeners to find out more about your work and your experience, of course. And I hope you are excited as well, and just we're gonna have a good time today. So this is great to hear about yourself and what you're doing. I think it would be a good idea if we started with getting to know you a little better. So, do you mind telling us how old are you and just some of your hobbies, what you like to do in your free time?
Okay, so I'm 20, soon to be 21. I watch a lot of TV and film in on the side as a media production student. I mean, it's got a lot of us into it, you know. Mainly sort of fantasy or sci-fi kind of stuff. I'm a big sort of nerd. I love that kind of thing. Hobby-wise, my university is taking a lot of time at the moment. So besides from like hanging out with friends and things, I haven't been able to get up to much. But I now and again, when we can organise a session, I do D&D with some friends, which is really fun. And I've actually found that it's helped with my media production, especially when leading and producing and directing and stuff, because it's very problem-solving based, which is quite fun. I was getting into bouldering just before the pandemic. Haven't really been able to do it much, obviously, during it, and then since, obviously, things have picked up a lot more, it's kind of hard to get going, but the other summer I got sort of all my housemates into it a bit, and we were going out sort of every week, and sort of challenging ourselves and having a bit of a laugh and a bit of an exercise. It was really good.
That sounds so lovely.
Thanks.
It's great that you know how to divide your free time and your personal life, and just your whole thing is like on its place. That's really great to hear.
It's hard.
So we now know what you're passionate about, and we will also know your degree, which seems like the right amount of information, but we're still going to dig in a bit deeper, if you don't mind, of course.
No problem. Go for it.
So I think I would be right to assume that most of our listeners would be very interested in learning about any of your recent projects. So, like, can you tell us some of your favorites?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, final semester, I'm working on my final media project, and it's a really big undertaking. So we have 15 minutes essentially if we're doing some kind of film format or anything. And I decided that rather than doing one thing, I'm creating 3 short videos, which has been really...
That seems like a lot of work.
It's been a real, not hassle, difficult and challenging experience, actually. You need to think positively about these things. And yeah, so I've been working solely on that as my main focus. So the idea is it's the reason why I wanted to do multiple things was I wanted to tell multiple queer experiences through a fantasy sort of lens in a fun, short format way, which as a result ended up being 3 different things, because quite often in the media the queer experience is sort of pushed into one box of, oh, sort of come out and then that's it. And I was like, well, actually, there's a lot more to it. Everyone experiences things in their own way. There's a lot more themes and core concepts that really get missed, and a lot of stuff that people could really do with seeing and feeling represented with, or just understanding a bit better, from like questioning to actually, once you're out, sort of finding that community and that personal acceptance within yourself. It's a really difficult thing to do, and yeah, so that's sort of what I've been working on. But I mean, today I was upstairs working on a set, helping a friend build a set for a game show that he's doing for his final project.
A game show.
Yeah. So he's doing. He did a tester last year, but he's producing a full on like game show with like questions and like activities and stuff, and like a small prize, and a loser prize and stuff. And he's presenting and hosting, but he's got the theatre department involved, and he's painting these like massive sets. He's painting letters. He's got podiums. He's got all sorts sort of in the works and going on at the moment. So I'm lending a hand there.
So he just asked for your help. There's no obligations.
Yeah.
We're just friends, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
friends, no obligations. I mean, I've offered to help with everyone I can. Really, like it's so critical. Like at the end of our degree, just to work with each other and get your hands on and get as much experience as you can. So like tomorrow, I'm helping a friend. She's doing a tester for her audio drama for her FMP. So I'm probably going to be back in here, to be fair.
Do you still have time for your work after that?
Yeah. I mean, I've last week I shot most of my stuff. In fact, I just posted on Instagram some of the behind the scenes photos if you want to check that out. Yeah, we did most of the filming last week. In fact, I also recorded audio narration in here the week before that for one of them, which is like a spoken word piece, like a poem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while preparing for this session, we found out from one of your public profiles that you are an aspiring cinematographer and director, which kind of comes from all that you just said right now. And we also found out that you are also certified in Adobe Premiere Pro, which is like very cool. And also we've practiced in Photoshop and Lightroom. Can you tell us more about these details? Are they accurate? And is this what you see yourself doing in the future?
Yeah, well, as I said previously, it's sort of like putting your hands in all the pots and learning as much as you can, and then kind of finding what you want to do or what you're good at, or just what you really want to try. So last year, as part of the university through the Advantage courses, I was able to get certified in Premiere Pro, which obviously I picked up anyway doing my course because I needed it to edit. Whilst primarily I just use it to get by. I do definitely feel far more confident in it being technically certified, and it's really good to sort of to put on your profiles and whatnot. In terms of Photoshop and Lightroom, mainly only dabbled. Currently, I'm doing the same thing for Photoshop as I did with Premiere Pro. I'm going through Advantage course, and I'm going to hopefully be certified in that, which will be fun because honestly, Photoshop scares me. Like most of the Adobe suite, like After Effects, but it's all about the challenge and all about, again, learning and just trying and whatnot. And actually, I found that I'm picking it up a lot easier than I expected. So that's fun, and it's technically accurate. Yeah, I've dabbled in them, you know.
In some way,
Uh,
it is what we're supposed to do. Like, whatever scares you, just go in it and just do all you can.
Yeah.
That seems like a good approach to
Mm.
life, I think.
Thank you.
So now that we're here, can we talk about your Instagram and other
Mhm.
networks? So you currently have 83 followers and only 20 posts, which seems like a big amount of followers for your interactions, I would say.
It's been a lot of posts for a long time, and I don't use it necessarily as much as I should, per se. But I'm working on that, especially with my final project. So as I said, like I posted today, and I will be posting more in the coming weeks as I build towards it. So hopefully I'm going to be using my Photoshop skills to help me design some posters, posting with sort of my cast and my crew, and tagging them.
But do you
And
like
yeah.
it, or do you feel like it's a hard task to do?
I don't think it's too hard. I mean, as long as you know the dimensions, you know what exactly you want from it. Um, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more people who use it a lot more professionally, and they can go into the insights and they can go into like viewership and the peak times to post and whatnot. For me, really, it's a tool to really just share what I'm doing. I'm not too focused on, oh, I need the most, I need this, I need that. I just kind of want to share things. I just want to share what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and whatnot. And I don't really look at the followers. I mean, it's not that many. It's 80. Most people have more of that in just their friends, to be honest. But I'm working on that, especially as I leave university, and sort of build my portfolio and whatnot. As I work on things, I'm going to be posting a lot more, and will be using it obviously to promote myself for the jobs and whatnot and for my career. But ultimately at the moment it's kind of where I want it or where I'm content with it. But I wouldn't discourage anyone from sort of going for it and really maximising the utility of it. Yeah.
You know, one thing that I found interesting while looking on your Instagram is literally your description. So as soon as you get on the page, it says always learning, always improving. Do you feel like this is your life motto right now?
Yeah, very much so.
Is it something that keeps you going and creating every single day?
Yeah. Throughout my final project, it's naturally it's very anxious because it's my final kind of piece for university and it's my grade and
Of
whatnot.
course, yeah.
But like it's been a lot of fun, but ultimately kind of looking at it, I'm thinking, oh my god, I should have done this or I should have done that, or this could have been done better, that could have been done better. But ultimately, it's like, well, okay, I've already taken lessons from my previous projects. I mean, I did a short film last semester with a course mate. I did one in second year. I've done sort of lots of little bits and pieces for university in between. I was on a work experience in May of last year, working on a professional web series, which was really fun. And okay, I'm not at that standard yet, but I've done all these little things. I've picked up all these little things, and I've been able to put them into this. And from this, I've been able to pick up lots of other little things. And so, really, in order to keep being positive about it and actually making the best out of the work that I've got, you have to look at it that way. You have to look at it as always learning, always improving, because otherwise you're going to look at it and pick out all the flaws and you're going to like criticize it to hell, and you're not going to want to do it anymore. You're not going to be happy with it. You're not going to be proud of it. You're not going to want to share it. You've kind of doomed yourself otherwise if you don't look at it in that way and you don't try.
So it all depends on how you see the situation.
Yeah, which is why I try and see every situation as always learning and always improving.
I think it's very impressive how you can see yourself from a side. So most people, when they talk about themselves, they talk about their achievements and how they had basically no problems, when we all know that they had problems. While for you, it's a bit different. You look at yourself from all the perspectives, from your flaws and from your pros and cons, from everywhere. And it makes you, I don't know how to explain it right, but it feels like you're more than what you are.
Thank you.
Yes, I think it makes sense, but I'm not sure. Okay, so now, as you have probably guessed, what we're trying to do in this particular podcast is to explore the professional side of the media and communication area, which is very similar to what you are studying right now. They're like cousins or something, I would say. That is why we have you here right now, and that is also the reason why we want to know you better and to understand your process of creating. So, as an artist, I'm sure that you go through ups and downs as everybody else, and we know that sometimes the lower you get, the harder it is to stand up after. So, I was wondering if you could tell our listeners what happens when you go really low and what helps you go back on your way.
That's an interesting one. To be fair, I think really when you get to a low point, whether you're just not creating or you're not having fun creating, you just need to take a step back, because if you're forcing it too much, it's not really gonna work. You're not gonna pick yourself back up necessarily. Like some people do, and that's them. But for a lot of us, especially procrastinators, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna wallow a bit, and you're gonna, oh, I can't be able to do this, or I don't want to do this, and really you just kind of you try and get through it, or you try and look at it the right way, and you go, okay, well, once this is done, I can work on something I want to do. Or if you don't have anything going on, you have to kind of go, okay, well, actually, why am I pressuring myself to do this? What is it that I actually want to do? Okay, let's try and do that. And it's just trying to engage yourself as much as possible in what you want and what you need. Like there are opportunities always around you to do that kind of thing. And really, the media, what's so brilliant about media in all formats is the opportunities it gives. Like there's all sorts of things that you can be doing. There's all sorts of ways to get involved, and loads constantly happening, and loads that you can do. And so it gives you really like just so much range and opportunity to pick yourself back up from hitting a low place. Just because there's hundreds of thousands of other people there who might be on a high right now, and you're worried that, oh, I'm not at that, or I'm not like them.
Never compare yourself to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's the worst thing you can do to yourself.
That's them. They've obviously done whatever they've done to get to that point. If you want to, you can go down the route of analysing them and thinking, okay, I need to do that to do this. I need that because if I want to achieve this point, I need to be like them. But ultimately, we're all going to make our own ways in this world, and a lot of the time, people are just looking for you to be you. Like you're not just a machine at the end of the day.
Be as unique as possible. Okay. So now that we're talking about artistic blockages and all of this thing, the depression and anxiety, do you think it's okay to write your thoughts down when you get in this dark period? Do you think after that you can transform this into something beautiful?
I think for some people, yeah, being able to put down their thoughts and feelings and visualize those things can be really helpful. I mean, I know I used at one point, I had another private Instagram with like no followers or anything, and I would just post my feelings and my thoughts. I typed them up on an Insta story, save them as highlights. And just to get them out and away. Okay, nobody's going to see them, but I know that they're out there, and I know that those thoughts are real, but also that they're out there and they're not going to harm me.
That's an interesting way of using social media.
Yeah, like as you said, if you put your thoughts down, I don't know if you meant like posting on social media or not, but like if writing those kind of dark things down, really you get a real perception of actually, hold on, it's just a couple words on a page. It's nothing more than that. I can work through that. I can do this. I can do that. And you can problem solve it more and really kind of put a better perspective on it, and hopefully it will be somewhat cathartic and give somewhat of a release.
That's a very mature way of looking at it from a 20 years old.
You can talk the talk, but if you can't walk the walk, then it's not worth it.
True.
So I can say it right now, but it would be lying if I didn't say that I haven't struggled with that as well. But then everyone is and everyone does, not to make it feel as if one person's is more or less, but to say that actually no, it is valid. It is valid to feel that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to a more pleasant topic.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about creativity and inspiration and all of this that keeps you going, I wanted to ask you if you have ever looked for a muse, or like if you need your ideas to be already somewhere back in your brain, or do you have like a process for this?
So a lot of my opportunities to create have been at university, especially with like the loan shop and whatnot. And surprisingly, I haven't actually made loads of content for myself, because I'm still kind of figuring that out. But what I have found fun, at least in the last sort of year, as I've been producing more and more of my own stuff for projects, in terms of the creative process, was looking at, okay, I know who I am as an artist and whatnot. So what do I want to tell? How can I tell that? What different avenues can I go down, and what would work, what works together, and playing around with the different ideas, discussing it with people, peers, friends, people that it matters to, and whatnot. actually just, again, it really comes down to that be yourself and have fun. Like, if you're not making art for yourself or for someone that you care about, then why necessarily are you making it? Or for a cause that you care about as well, sorry. So, like, weirdly, I have a challenge going at the moment with my boyfriend. We're both, he doesn't do media in any form, but we're writing 15-page short scripts with the title Holes. And it's actually quite challenging coming up with an idea, but it's really fun, and it's a really fun way because it's not to do with grades or university or anything like that, and it's not like professional career stuff. It's something that I'm doing in my own time that actually it's feeling like it's refreshing my creative inspiration, and I'm looking at a lot of different things now and then thinking, oh, actually that's a really cool idea, or actually maybe I'll do that in a different time in a different way. Okay, maybe it doesn't fit what I want to do here, but I like that. You can find inspiration anywhere.
You
really.
always talk about people, so we
Mhm.
already know that you are a team player, which
Mhm.
is extremely good in our industry. But can you say that the moral support is like vital when it comes to creating? And do you feel like there's one person especially that gives you all this strength that you need?
Yeah, moral support is really important because quite often, especially if you're the only person in one role and everybody else is focused on doing other things, like worrying about, oh my god, am I doing a good job or something, is really difficult. Or again, if you come to the creativity thing, like you need moral support to get you through sometimes in order to reach the point that you can pick yourself back up, or other people can help pick you back up. Like teamwork is great, but sometimes obviously you kind of things slip through the cracks. I find personally my moral support definitely comes from my family, my mum especially, my complete and total backbone. That woman, I love her. She means so much to me, and really has helped so much. I mean, I mentioned my boyfriend previously as well. I remember coming up to my final project as it was getting to sort of the stress point, the breakdown point. I very much like relied on him for moral support. I came to him and I verbalized those thoughts that you talked about earlier of like, oh my god, is this am I going to be a failure? Is this not going to look okay? Like, what's wrong with me? Why did I pick this? Why did I decide to do this? Oh, I really wish I'd done this instead. And my mum and both my boyfriend sort of sat there and went, okay, well, you're doing it. You got yourself to this point. You believed in yourself enough to start this. You can do it. So yeah.
That's very lovely. And I think your mom and boyfriend will be really glad to hear all of this. Maybe you can get them a copy somehow. We're gonna see.
Maybe.
I was wondering, how many hours does it take you to, like, let's say in a day, how many hours do you spend just creating and just being in your space of inspiration? It doesn't have to be every day, of course, whenever you're getting into this work process.
Yeah, no, it's not, obviously it's not every day. It's very much when a project arises or when I'm interested in creating something. I mean, I'm just coming to the end of university, so I'm still playing around and exploring and figuring out what I want to do. I mean, I'm not going straight into the industry either. I'm saving up. I want to travel because that's something that I want to do. But in terms of what you asked, when I am thinking about it or I'm coming up on a project or anything, it can take quite a lot of time, but it takes a lot of time in the sense that you'll always have it playing in your head. You'll always necessarily be thinking about it. But like, you might go out and do other things. You might go out with your friends and stuff or whatever else.
But it's still a part of yourself.
Yeah, it's
all
still
the
part
time.
of yourself. Yeah, and if you're finding inspiration wherever you go, again, suddenly you're clocked on and you're working in your head because you're thinking, oh, I like this. I'm having these thoughts and ideas, and whatnot. And then obviously there's like the physical, actually getting down to business and working on things, which takes time. And that obviously ranges from whatever you're doing, what needs to be planned or what you need to do in order to create it, and stuff. Yeah.
This one will come more like a personal interest, but I'm just wondering, are there any changes you want to see in the art society right now? Because living in 2022 is a bit challenging. So do you feel like there's something missing in our community?
Really, I think the future is now. Like, a lot of the people that I work with on my course and a lot of the things that I'm seeing a lot more in the media are really inspiring, are really hopeful. And like, there's some really amazing people on my course doing some really cool things and representing some amazing stuff and really kind of being that change that they want to see in the world. Not to quote that really awful reference there. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm doing something. I'm doing queer representation for myself, for my younger version of myself, and younger kids who might want specific kinds of representation or specific themes that they won't necessarily see. So I guess that really like a broader sort of perspective on things, a range of media, not just sort of hitting and quitting, not just sort of releasing one thing, one piece of representation and going, okay, tick the box, let's go.
That's enough.
It's sort of like the experiences aren't the same for everyone, and there's more than one experience in and of itself. So like there's so much that you can do. You're never gonna reach every single person with something. So just continuing that and just producing as much as you can for as many different people as you can.
Is there a particular thing that you wish you knew when you started university? Because like you're now a graduate. So is there anything you'd like to tell to your past self?
I think there's always this stress that at every stage in your life you need to know exactly who you are and what you're doing and where you're going and what you're doing it for and what you need to learn and what you need to do. Like at the beginning of university, it's like, I need to know that I want to do this, so that I can focus on learning this and getting better at this, and so that when I get to the end, I know where I'm going and that I need to be able to do this and do that. And then at the end of university, again, sort of like, if you don't know, it's very much again sort of, oh my God, what am I doing? I should be doing this. Everyone else is doing that. I need to be thinking about my career and this and that. And ultimately, you're going to keep on doing that all the time. Great if you know exactly what you want to do. Great if you know you are going to be the next Edgar Wright or whatever. But like, you don't need that necessarily. So I think if I went back, it would be more to say like, don't worry. You're going to learn some really cool things. You're going to get to work on some really fun stuff, and you go at your own pace and you do what you want to do, and whatever you do it for yourself. You're not doing it for anyone else. You don't need to worry about what anyone else thinks or how anyone else is perceiving it. You just need to do you and just enjoy it. Like, if you come to uni for a reason, you may as well.
I don't know why, but I just felt like you were saying all these words to me, which is very inspiring.
If you need it, you need it, you know.
Well, I want to thank you because I sincerely enjoyed today's session, and I'm very glad that you are here with us. And I would like to thank you for taking the time to answer all of my complicated questions.
No problem. I think I talked far too long for most of them. To be fair.
I hope you look back at this day and you're gonna feel just as excited as I feel today.
I'll learn from it. I'll improve. Don't worry.
Thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you.
It's absolutely lovely to meet you. Thank you.